Hello, guys. Welcome back to another prediction. This time we have President Joe Biden up against Governor Ron DeSantis of the state of Florida. Now, DeSantis definitely has better favorables than Trump. I mean, there still is a lot of undecideds in those polls, but he is not seen as unfavorably as Trump is, and he's slightly positive in these favorability polls, which is pretty good for Ron DeSantis. As I said before, he's a more fresh face for Republicans to run. He's not damaged goods, unlike Trump. And he's very similar to Trump on the policies anyway. So I still think you'd get a lot of the Trump voters to turn out for him in an election. He'd probably appeal better to the suburban voters, which Trump has been always losing those suburban voters. So you can't max out the rurals beyond this. I think Trump already hit the maximum for the rural states, unless they go like 95-5 for him. But at this point, you got to compete with suburban voters instead of the rural ones. They're just more suburban ones than rural. Okay, let's start off with the first few states. Colorado, considered a safe blue state, while New Mexico just goes to under likely. I just think that DeSantis could appeal better in the state of New Mexico among Latino voters, which DeSantis would definitely do better than Trump with. Alaska would be a safe red state. Again, DeSantis would definitely outcompete Trump in the state of Alaska to unite most of the conservative base here, especially those independents who like Murkowski. They'd probably still back DeSantis. In Iowa and Ohio, again, DeSantis would still get the Trump base out in both these states and win them by about the same margin as Trump would. Iowa by 8, Ohio by 7, which is the same margin I had for the last prediction in Ohio with Trump versus Biden. I think he carries it by 7. Just because Biden's approval rating is improving a bit in Ohio. Okay. In Texas and Florida, it's just a safe red state. He's a very popular governor in the state of Florida. He won by nearly 20 points in the 2022 elections. While Texas, he had appealed pretty well in the state of Texas, wins it by about 6.5%, I would say. Pretty much the same margin as the 2020 election. Okay, which state should we head to next? Maine and New Hampshire. Maine, it's safe blue. It's a pretty sure lock for Joe Biden at this point. Same with New Hampshire. I just don't think DeSantis could appeal that well in the New England area. Maybe New Hampshire could go to lean, but honestly, I think Biden still carries the state by about 6 points against Ron DeSantis. We'll see if polls actually show it as a closer race. I just think DeSantis is way too socially conservative to appeal to New England or New Hampshire. Well, he'll still get Maine second, just like Trump would, but that's because it's a very Republican district. Okay, let's see here. We'll do the southern states. Why not? All right, we'll start off with North Carolina. DeSantis would definitely do better than Trump in this state, winning it by a bigger margin. And DeSantis would definitely carry Georgia. He would have better southern appeal than Trump. He's actually been in Florida most of his life. So I think he could do better with the more moderate independents in the state of Georgia than Trump would. The state of Virginia. Polls shown that Biden's a bit behind DeSantis in the state of Virginia. I doubt that. The sample is D+5. I think that's too low of a sample. I think it should be like D+8. I have a lot of doubts about that poll, but it does show a bit of a weakness for Biden in the state of Virginia. But I think it's going to be a lean margin for Biden in the state of Virginia. He carries it by about 4 points against DeSantis. We'll see how socially conservative he is, and that'll definitely shift a lot of voters in this state. Okay. Nevada and Arizona. Nevada, I think DeSantis would be the type of Republican to narrowly carry the state against Joe Biden. I think he could pull that off with his appeal to Latino voters. It'll win over all those a decent amount of independents in the state of Nevada. But it'll be a very close state. Arizona, I still think it would go to Biden. I still think he would be seen as a more moderate candidate in this race. And even though he's very old and DeSantis is quite young, I really think that wouldn't matter to Arizonan voters. I still think they would back Biden over DeSantis. It's just a trending blue state. Okay, now we're just down to Nebraska second and the Rust Belt states. Nebraska second would get a bit narrower, but Biden still wins by about 4 points. Minnesota, still a likely state. I don't really think DeSantis is moderate enough to get it down to lean. You need a moderate candidate to even appeal well to Minnesota. And we're just down to these last 3 states here. But I still think Biden would be favored to win in Michigan. Still think he'd be favored to win in Pennsylvania. And I still think he'd be narrowly favored to win in Wisconsin. Just because I don't think DeSantis is populist enough on the issues to win them. But Still, Wisconsin's about the same narrow margin as it was under Trump, but I just don't think he'd be able to win those states. So that's my prediction. I think Biden wins a popular vote by about 3% against DeSantis. While in my last prediction, Biden against Trump, I think the popular vote goes to about 4.5%. So it's a 1.5% difference between these two candidates. DeSantis does 1.5% better nationally than Trump. But I'll see you guys in the next one.